Alrighty, hello everybody and welcome back to Video Game Therapy, part 13 I think. It's Friday night, and I figured at the bare minimum... Oh? Hello? Well, great start. So yeah, it's, it's Friday, and, I figure at the bare minimum I can get one of these out every week. So welcome back to Video Game Therapy. Today I want to talk about the concept of a future self. I'm in a different area than when I ended off last time. If you've been paying attention to the game, it's not like there's much going on. The only reason that is because I tried recording this once. Oh, rip fishy. But alas, I've been doing this like workout thing lately. And a lot of my inspiration, so to speak, for physical fitness is... Oh, this is where I came from. Is... I consider myself a martial artist. And that's just because I've been doing karate for as long as I can remember. And I've been studying it seriously for several years now. 4 or 5, so whatever that means to you. And I've been very curious in getting into Muay Thai, as well as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I can't quite do that with the pandemic. Anyway, so a large part of the reason for physical fitness is martial arts. And a large part of the reason for martial arts is being able to, I guess, defend myself and others should the need ever arise. Without going more into that, the reason I say this is because the workout thing I've been doing, it's for like boxing, but it's all like body weight workouts and stuff. Anyway, a large part of the reason I think about it, and this is one of the things that kind of not changed my mind, but I kept in mind while doing keto and, when I woke up for boxing at 6 in the morning on, Tuesday, Thursday with days of classes, was... I'm not doing this for me now, I'm doing this for me tomorrow. And tomorrow is, metaphorically speaking, as in just the future. Because if there comes a time when, I don't know, I can help someone, but I'm not able to because I'm held back by something, that bugs me. And there are times when I dropped like 50 pounds, in a semester, and there was this one thing in my mind that was like, there's gonna come a point where, and in a sense I did keep this in mind, because I was like, when this happens, I'm gonna sit there and think, oh man, I wish I could just magically snap this away. And so I became a time traveler. This perspective of, doing things now for future you is, I think it's kind of fascinating, and so I wanted to talk about that. And it also came up in something, so that's how I've come up with it on my own. That's my view of the future self concept on my own. Where is this other thing? Good lord, at least this looks all pretty. It's it's all about doing things for you at a later date, and this is pretty hard to do. One of my biggest vices, and I've talked about this a few times now, is YouTube. And I'd be like, oh, like in 10 minutes, finish this episode, I'll start. And I could never, stop exactly. But I turned off recommendations, and Cold Turkey helped me, close apps automatically. And yeah, I broke off bad habits, and they started automatically being replaced with good ones. Anyway, I digress. So there's this concept of like, do things now so you won't have to do it later, but also do things now so you can be prepared for things later. Now, I do want to mention Stoic philosophy, because I've been reading a lot about it recently. There was something I wrote earlier today, and I feel like, ooh, what a snag. I feel like it kind of sums this up in a way. Actually, you know what? I'll get back to that in a second. The second thing that brings in this future self concept, and more or less why I'm talking about it right now, is this 30-day future self program by Dr. Benjamin Hardy that I'm doing online. He gives you these activities every day. I'll put a link to it in the description. I'm gonna forget because I don't go through and edit these. Benjamin Hardy, 30-day future self. That's all you have to Google for this. And he releases these 5 to 15 minute videos, and then gives you a journal prompt, and you write about it. They're, even if you don't journal, they're very fascinating concepts to think about too. And one of them that hit me was, and it kind of, whoa, that's cool. Thumbnail. One of the things that hit me was, what was one of the things that hit you, Mark? Yes, one of the first ones was, take a second and picture yourself having a conversation with your future self. So take you in, 5 years and talk to yourself right now. What is that future self going to say? What are you going to see in that future self? Now, I don't want to say so much because I don't want to, rip off this guy's stuff. So definitely check it out. But the concept here is, in 5 years, do you want, I'm going to crack open one of these seltzer waters real quick. Bubbly blackberry bubbly. Honestly, a D-tier flavor. I have a cherry one that's like B tier. Anyway, when if you could time travel, like if you could time travel in 5 years in the future, who do you want to see? And what do you need to do now to get to that person? And that's kind of what this future self boils down to. Is, in the future, in 5 years, hey man, there was, someone who tried to attack you and your friends, right? Now, this is something that I hope never happens. But, in 5 years, do I want to be able to tell myself, dude, you freaking, I don't know, you took a bullet for someone, or like you fought somebody, I don't like to think I'm violent enough to beat someone up, but I feel like if I need, anyway, yeah, we're going to avoid that topic. Self-defense and defense of others. Or do I want to say, yeah, you just, you got totally mollywopped. You didn't stand a chance, whatever. Or in another sense, it's kind of like, hey man, I don't even remember that operating systems lab you did, but do I want to look back and say, oh, I got a good score on it? Or do I want to look back and say, I procrastinated, excuse me, I pushed it off so bad I, bombed it. One of the big things for me was in 5 years, I want to, if I'm having this conversation with my future self, I want to be able to tell myself now that I have like a partner. And it's like, what do I have to do to, get there, I guess? It's no one in specific. It's just like having someone, and that's kind of a big thing for me. I don't know, I'm low-key a romantic, but, yeah, this is weird video game therapy. But anyway, after this thinking of the future self, and I've been doing like, I would do like 2 or 3 of these videos in one day, like every few days or so. I'm on day I just got the email for day 27 and I've only completed day 14. Anyway, so definitely look that up if you're fascinated or I hate the word interest or interesting. If the idea intrigues you, definitely look it up. Benjamin Hardy, 30-day future self. And tell him Cowdino sent you. I think I find peace in the fact that nobody watches this far into these. Anyway, the Stoic philosophy thing. Now, I wrote this down because reading it sounds very Stoic, and it pulls from that, but it also pulls from looking back on who you are now as who you might become. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I just want to take a moment to appreciate these graphics, dude. My computer graphics class is giving me so much respect and appreciation for this. Okay. Like, good lord. Ooh, those are particles. So, I wrote down, life is completely random. Thus, there are only 2 things we can control. Now, I haven't thought this through too much. In the sense that, there might be more that we can control. But, life is completely random. Thus, there are only 2 things we can control. 1, work to prepare for potential outcomes if they occur. Whoops. 1. Work to prepare for potential outcomes. If they occur, we are ready better than we were. Why did I accept that when I wrote it down? I wrote it on my whiteboard and I was looking at that. If work to prepare for potential outcomes, period. If these outcomes occur, we are more prepared than we would be without a day's preparation. And 2 is respond to the random events with no preconceptions as to what may arise. Now, number 2 is pretty much Epictetus in a nutshell. No. Epictetus' quote about, I think I've already brought it up, but you know, don't wish for what you want to happen, wish for whatever happens, or something like that. That was pretty much the gist of it. That's pretty much number 2. But number 1 is this whole future self concept. Work to prepare for potential outcomes. If they occur, we are ready better than we were. Suppose you want to be a writer. And, you know, there might come a day where... Now, there's a really important point to this that I didn't write down and should probably be part of the initial statement, but I'll make it clear in this example. Suppose you want to be a writer and you don't write, and you know, suppose you are a writer and you don't write, and you're like, oh, you know, I'll write when I get a job in journalism or whatever. Well, what if I told you in 2 days, no, let's make this more realistic. In 6 months, someone was going to bump into you on the street. You were going to strike up a conversation and they were going to ask you, so what have you written? And you would have 2 potential outcomes. There would be one world in which, oh, yeah, I actually have this draft of this, you know, book I'm writing. I only have a few chapters done. Here you go. I'll send you to email. Or you can be like, yeah, you know, nothing good. And they're like, oh, well, send me something you've written. And it's like, I don't have anything, dude. Another example might be coding interviews. You know, you walk in for a coding interview and I don't know if I'm ever going to be in a coding interview. I'll likely be in one, unfortunately, but prepare now for that coding interview. Then, you know, 2 days before being like, oh shoot, I wish I prepared for this a year ago. Now, the key thing here, and I wrote this down when I sent it to a channel on Discord. We want to work to prepare for potential outcomes. If they occur, for example, if you've written, you know, 10 chapters of your book, shout out to Chris, and someone says, so what have you written? You know, you can say, actually, you know, I have a couple chapters of this book I've written. Here you go. You know, I'd love for feedback on this. Brilliant. If that happens, absolutely wonderful. You know, you have a goal in mind. There is a goal, you know, this potential outcome, whether, you know, I would, you know, taking from Stoic philosophy here, don't wish for it to happen, right? But if it happens, you know, why not prepare for if it happens? And the most important part of this, in my opinion, the most important part of this idea is that if it does not happen, if I, you know, never go into a coding interview, I will still have grown. Real life example, maybe. My other YouTube channel, my lifestyle channel, it's gotten like 7,500 views in the last 48 hours on like one video, pretty much, which is insane. And the video was posted like several weeks ago, if not a few months ago at this point. Now, the reason why I use this as an example, and it's not the cat on a arcade, obviously, but you know, I try to keep in mind, you know, make this video as if it will blow up. And that hasn't happened for a very, very long time. I don't really treat Cowdino that way, if we're being honest. If you've watched any videos, you'd realize that. But people commented on that. A lot of people have commented on that video. A few of them have said, like, dude, this is a good video. Like, how do you have 700 subs? This is criminal, is what someone literally said. And I was like, dude, love you. Somebody mentioned, you know, they thought I had a few 100,000 subscribers or something because of the quality of the video. And that to me meant a lot because my effort did not go unnoticed. Now, suppose, you know, I didn't make this video. Suppose I was still at 293 subscribers on that channel or whatever it was. My video editing skills have still, you know, they're not perfect, obviously, but they've still grown so much. I'll use Cowdino as an example, right? Cowdino has never gotten anywhere. And if we're being honest, it likely never will. But, I can't believe I missed that, but I have grown as a result of this Cowdino arcade. If someone comes along and says, hey, do you make, can you edit gaming videos? And I'm like, let me show you. No, it's not like I put much. Oh my God, dude, can we not? Am I pressing the wrong button? I was. Then I have this entire channel as a portfolio to show. But if no one ever asks, I've still grown. I can still pull out Premiere and Audacity and Audition and After Effects and be like, video project? Hi, I'm Mark. And that's the future self that that's where the future self idea comes in. What life is random, so we can't, wish for specific things to happen. I've been really working at this and saying, don't wish for this to happen. Whatever. Just be okay with whatever happens. But I can still set a goal. I can still say to myself, I have this summer, I'm going to make 1 video a week. Consistency, maybe I might grow. Maybe my channel might blow up. And eventually it did. But do I want to look back 5 years from now or let's say it was, me as the future self 3 months ago was me, working on YouTube videos for the lifestyle channel and here, I guess. But what I want to look back, what I want to talk to myself now and say, oh man, like you never made any videos. You'll never know if you blew up. Or do I want to say, yo, I made a bunch of videos and hey, I blew up. Or it could be I made a bunch of videos. I learned a lot, but I haven't blown up yet, so to speak. And that's just, I don't know, that's the whole thing with this. This future self concept and how I think it relates to Stoic philosophy. Future self, Stoic philosophy of the future self. That, I don't know, hopefully that makes sense to everybody. That's what I've been thinking about a lot lately. Last few VGTs are still relevant, but I'm feeling much better. All in all, oh, so I have to follow the chains. Right on, boys. All in all, that's kind of it. So, take a minute now in this video. Maybe leave a comment so you can, what video to come back to, maybe, hopefully. To ask you, to look at yourself again. In your future self, whether that be, end of the semester, even. Do you want to look back and say, I never studied for the exams and I kept procrastinating? Okay, here's a way to put this. For school specifically, I guess. And I suppose this is very relevant to me, but I feel like relevant to a lot of people. If you could talk to your future self at the end of the semester, let's say, or the school year, and you said, what do you remember? Will they remember the posts on Instagram? The videos on YouTube? They might remember TV shows or very specific videos. But what you will remember is getting assignments done. Maybe on time, maybe you procrastinated them. Things that are more important will stick with you, and there's a reason for that. So if you ever feel guilty, do it, whatever. That's another thought entirely. But yeah. Let's go ahead and hop. Yeah, let's go. And then we will wrap up. So yeah. I'm curious what people think about that. Saying that, it felt very cohesive, but knowing me, I doubt that it was. So to sum up my little quote here, life is completely random, thus there are only 2 things we can control. We can work to prepare for potential outcomes. Should those outcomes occur, we will have been prepared. Should they not occur, we will have grown. Number 2, respond to the random events with no preconceptions as to what may arise. Maybe I didn't really touch upon this one, but wow, you know what? Whatever I just said, 11 out of 10. I just summed it up really well, or so I think. This second one, just to touch on this for a little bit longer. Respond to the random events with no preconceptions as to what may arise. Someone shows up to you in your life, just don't react, respond. Someone punches you in the face, don't just be like, ow, man, what the heck? I mean, you can say that, but don't forget to respond. don't punch back unless they have malicious intent and they're already winding up, maybe on a run, whatever. Choose how you respond. That's what we have. We have control over our own actions, and I think that's my interpretation of what Aurelius refers to as the governing self, is the you that you control in a given environment. Anyway, so, you know, life happens at random, right? If you put someone in front of you and you're having a conversation, respond to that conversation. Dig into it a little bit. It's the chances, it's these random chances that we grab at. It's the random chances that we take a hold of that really, really count. I'm going to end there because this is getting a little long. Well, it's over 20 minutes. I honestly think this might have been the best VGT to date. The first one being the only rival. Like, god dang, dude, I am very proud of this. You know, I'm really proud of my little quote there. We're gonna go to meditate on the shark, assumably, or not. So thank you so much for listening again. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You know, reach out to me on Proton Mail. Maybe one day. But without further ado, never stop thinking, never stop philosophizing. Have a good one, and as always, don't forget to stay awesome. Peace out.